Hello, my name is Murtaza Brahmi from Art Studio and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to create this really awesome interior. The most important thing that I'm going to focus on it is the lighting because the modeling is not too complex. So this is the render which I took in Blender. Then in Photoshop I just added some layers and this is the final result. But the main focus here is the lighting. So before starting this tutorial and diving into it, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that you don't miss any new upcoming videos. So I actually use PureF, which is really good for this such as for showing the images. You can use it for image reference. You can press Ctrl F to so there is a lot of functions here. So let's open up Blender. Currently I'm using Blender 4. Let's click on splash screen. 4.2, which is the latest version. And here is the modeling. Let me press Z, we go to solid mode. And we can press 0 to get rid of the camera angle. So everything is really simple. So I like to open up a new panel because I like to start everything from scratch. So let's click on general, we press A, X and delete everything. So here I use the home builder, and I say that the modeling is not the main focus here, and the most important thing is the lighting. So therefore I like to skip this part because this is some pre-made objects which we can use. So we skip the modeling part, and you can see that I have 3 collection. The first one is for the modeling. We can turn it on and off. And then we have, let's turn on cavity, or let's go to studio so that we can see it easier. And then we have the lighting part, which I'm going to talk about these two actually part. So therefore we actually delete it from here. So let's turn it off for both of those, and I press 0 to switch to the camera angle, and then you can add a camera by pressing Shift A. Okay, let's add it once, and then here we have the camera, and then you can move and just take a look at the perspective that you want to capture it. Then hold on Ctrl Alt and 0. In this way the camera will be locked through your angle which you are seeing. So now move just a bit forward. I think this perspective looks fine for me. Then you can click here and you can move it back, then lock camera to view, and then we can go to output. This is the setting for the camera. You can click here and use some of these presets. I like to use this resolution, this setting. So anyway, if I just go to a render mode by pressing Z, so all the lights is still here because if I added this sky texture, then we can actually kill it out and we don't see except a darkness. So let's click here and assign it, and by clicking here on this blue dot on the color, we can assign the sky texture, and let's set the size to 1 and set the intensity to 4 in this case. And then we have to play around with these sliders because I like to see the lights coming through from my window. So we have to play around with the sun rotation and the elevation. So this looks good. Let's play around with it more. So now you can see that it is kind of flat lighting. So let's make it professional. So therefore I am opening another panel behind it. And then if I just enable the blockers, you can see that I have added this single plane, which we can create it by just adding a plane and then rotate it by 90 degrees in Y axis. You can see it. And then just enter tab and add some loop cuts. Let's focus on it. Let's move it first. Yeah, that's really simple. You can add some loop cuts and then click here, make the loop cuts more, then select these edges and you will see that I'm in the edge mode. We press Ctrl B, bevel it, and then press X to delete those faces which we selected. And the setting is not, creating this panel is not too hard. Okay, so then we place it somewhere. The next thing is the light. So I used an area light here, and we can go to its setting. You see that the power is set to 500. Let's press Ctrl Shift A. Then we go to lights, area light. Let's look at from top orthographic. We can press Shift Z to switch between solid mode and the Viper mode. Look at from this side, control rotate it in R, then rotate it, set it to 500 in this case, and still we can't see the effects of this part. So that is going to be, so let's delete this camera because I just like to show you how you can import the camera, which I'm sure a lot of you knows it already, but this is good for those beginner Blender user. Any case, anyway, so let's play around with the lighting. You can see if I just change the lighting, and it is important because my window is located here, and now you can see if I just move it closer, everything will start, all the interior starts to make itself brighter. So place it somewhere that doesn't kill all these shadows, because we need some shadows. Okay, so another setting is that I click on the render, then we go to color management, make sure to set it to filmic, and choose one of these preset look. In this case, high contrast for me looks good. You can see if I just set it to low contrast, take a look. So this is how it affects. So in this case, medium contrast or high contrast, one of those, choose one of those. Then let's press, and I like to unlock it because I like to move it. And then let's click here so that we see a clear or clean rendering. Now, so we move the lights somewhere, and then the most important thing is this one. You can see if I just set the strength to 0, we have no lighting except these area lights which we have. If I just turn it off as well, we will see nothing. But this one will help us because we need this light, or the light from the sun. So let's set it to 1, and this one is actually decide how blurry the sun disk will be. So when we set it to really tiny number, really small number, we will get um, harsh light, and when the light source is big, so the shadows is going to be smoother. So make sure to set it to around 1 so that you can see it too actually sharp. Now it is working good, but we actually can't see the effects of these until we move it somewhere. So in this case, I move it somewhere around here. This one looks interesting for me. So you can just, instead of having everything random, you can have it on random like this, and it adds more interest and realism to your work. So then for the rendering, we can go and click on the rendering. So in this case, we need to, for the viewport, you can turn on the denoising because now we see a real-time rendering. But for the render, it is important, make sure to turn on the denoising, and you can set it to a good level of maximum samples. And then in the output, you can choose a resolution, a canva. Then you can play around with this percentage. If you set it to 200, of course, it will multiply it by 2. Now, if you have a 1K, you're gonna be, after you put 2K, multiplied by 2, you're gonna be converted to double, 2K, or etc. So we are going to shot in a still frame. So therefore, we click here, but before that, when you take a render, make sure to play around with the device. We set it to cycle first, and the device is important. If in this case my GPU is better, if your GPU or graphic card is better than your CPU or motherboard, so make sure to set it to that. Otherwise, make sure to set it to GPU. So you can go to system and check if you have CUDA optics, which of those is available. So choose one of those. And for me, this is working good. Then make sure to set the layout or the viewport to solid or wireframe at least, because Blender, if I now click on F12 or render image, because when you set that one as well to render, so it try to take two kind of render at the same time. So there is a lot of eating of memory and graphic card. So we wait a couple of seconds until the render take finish. I'm back and the render is finished. So now you can see that if I just move it here, we can go to compositing. You see that I added this nice glare. We can press Shift A. Oh, let's change the font, and we choose Shift A in V, which is viewer. And now I can connect it from here to here, so that we see the image render at in the background. So we can get rid of this part because we are not going to use animation. We can press Alt and V, or just V to zoom in or out the image at the background. And then we can hold down Alt and middle mouse to grab the image. So now if I just press M on this glare, you will see that how it will affect the things. So okay, so I have enabled the no drag room, which is good. So I like to hold on Shift to add another point. Now we can connect these two using this point, and now here. So I like to move the glare, delete it. So now we have no glare. We can press Shift A, and we can type glare. The glare is in the filter, and assign it. So in this case, we want to set it to 5 glow, and then we play around with these threshold. you can see that if you go near to the 0, we will see a lot of glare or glow. But if we go towards higher, we want to see less of that. And just play around with that, with these guys, until you see something that you feel you're happy with that. 0.8 in this case, and then just switch so that you can see before and after it. In this case, it is good for me. I like it. Then we have, of course, other type of filters like the colors. We can use colors or other filters, but I supposed to do these kind of operation in the Photoshop, because the Photoshop, as you know, is for photos, and there is a lot of possibilities for the playing around with the colors and etc. Okay, then if I just click here, you can see that the changes has been applied and then you can click on the image and save as, and then just choose a name, interior, or let's 00 underscore interior, so something that I like to name it, and then choose, and then click on save as. So because I save it already, I don't like to save it again. So this is the end of this tutorial. Hope you like it and you learn something out of it. And I said again, many of my viewers watch the tutorial, but they are not like to subscribe, and I don't know why, and even like. And so I hope you consider to like and subscribe it, because in this case you're helping me and the channel to grow up faster. And I do some plan to produce more tutorials about 3D graphic artist, share my knowledge about the Blender software and motion graphic design. So thank you very much, and see you in the future.